If 2009 is saw as a kind of reset and 2010 is an evolution of that, where does 2011 stand? SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 is the final SmackDown vs. Raw game to carry the SmackDown vs. Raw banner, but is it worthy of being the last game in that series? Well, let's find out. Welcome back to the training arena. Of course, this is not the OVW arena that was in SmackDown vs. Raw 2010. This is, of course, just a full-ass arena, right? So in 2011, you've graduated from OVW and you're now in the full arena. So you still have your checklist. You can still do all of the actions, except now you have access to this full arena. So you can kind of run around this big old empty... It's kind of like a Madison Square Garden, I think, but yeah, I really like the stage design here, and I like what they were trying to do with some of the design here. Very strange that you're in an empty arena, but I do appreciate that when you want to try something unique, if you want to try a new move, or you want to try a new gameplay mechanic, you can just do it here, because obviously Orton has no AI. You can change the AI, so if you did want to do like a match here, you kind of can. But we're not here for the training arena, we are here to play SmackDown vs. Raw 2011. So let's go for something extremely different this time. We have Rob Van Dam versus a very young Drew McIntyre from... Do you know what? Actually, no. They just started fighting backstage. It wasn't me. They just started fighting. I just happened to be the cameraman, okay? I'm a camera person at heart, and I'm just catching the action as it happens. One thing I didn't realize is that during this match you would have the music in the background. So you may be thinking, why did I pick a backstage brawl? Well, that is a good point. I don't know why I picked a backstage brawl. I just wanted to see one. Doesn't it get boring watching single matches all the time? I suppose I could have just picked any other type of match. July 25th, me and Donkey93 are hosting a 3-day charity event raising money for St. Columba's Hospice. We're going to be doing lots of cool activities like interviewing staff members at the hospice, playing lots of games, completing lots of challenges, and who knows what else disgusting, degenerate stuff we're going to get into. But if you want to get involved, click the QR link on the screen or check the link in the descriptions. Again, that is over the weekend of July the 25th, and I hope to see you there. Whatever, we're here in the GM office. I was kind of hoping the AI would actually use some of the environmental stuff here, but you can see in the background you have some awards. You've got a Slammy award there in the bookshelf, a whole bunch of wrestling DVDs and books there. As Drew gets RVD closer to the desk there, you can interact with almost every object in this backstage arena. It isn't a free roam backstage, so it isn't like the kind of modern games where you can kind of go about and do other things. You're locked to this one area, but you can do so many interactions in this area. So even with the table, by the way, like the desk, it has multiple interactions. So even if even if the characters here were to interact with these objects, which it looks like Drew, if he didn't do a running attack, we would have saw one. The first time that you do an attack on an area, it does like just an interaction, right? Just some sort of move into the prop. But the second time you do it, it will do another one, and it'll probably break it more. And it is possible to just do multiple attacks on certain objects, and it will eventually do like different ability. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It'll do different things. The downside to doing a backstage brawl, I guess, is that a lot of the wrestling moves don't work backstage, because you see here they just do lots of attacks, and the wrestling moves have been swapped out for these interaction kind of abilities. So if you go for a move, then it will kind of do this chop animation instead, and it will push the character back. That McIntyre won, but that was the shittest backstage brawl I've ever seen in my life. Oh man, that was painfully bad, but that's okay. We are now going to go into the gameplay systems. We will we'll talk about this more shortly, but this is the first game to feature WWE Universe mode. Now, as you can see, Universe mode is baked into the game. This is something that I think they should bring back now. Even though exhibition mode is really good and somewhat unpredictable in the current games, I do think that universe mode being literally baked into the whole game is such a good idea. And I'm actually amazed that they stopped it. But regardless, looking at universe mode here, you'll see that I just came out of this, but you can see here that the first match of this card is John Cena versus CM Punk in a Hell in a Cell match. Now, if you watched the John Cena versus CM Punk in every game video, you'll have seen that match. And likewise, the RVD Drew McIntyre backstage fight that we just did is also part of Universe mode. So the matches that you do in Exhibition tie into the statistics and tie into the storylines that are playing out within Universe mode. So within Universe, you have the option to check the schedule. It's maybe not as elaborate as you would expect from today's Universe mode. Obviously, it has, you know, this is, oh my god, it's 14 years ago? 14 fucking years ago, holy shit. So 14 years ago, this was the first version of your Universe mode. Admittedly, amazingly, it had like 0 updates for so many years. And only now is really starting to get proper substantial updates. But basically, everything that's in this Universe mode in 2011 carries forward all the way into the modern day. The cutscenes that you see in the Universe mode in this game, I guarantee that they are still there now. So you have a full calendar here. April is Backlash, May is Extreme Rules, June is The Bash, July is Night of Champions, August SummerSlam, September is Hell in a Cell, October is Bragging Rights. That's interesting. Isn't Hell in a Cell usually in October? Interesting. So November is Survivor Series, December is TLC, January is Royal Rumble, February is Elimination Chamber, which leads into March, which is WrestleMania. And every single storyline has like a set length, so they tend to pay off at pay-per-views, but not always. They can also kind of lead into other things as well. So yes, cutscenes play in pay-per-view modes, cutscenes play in pay-per-views in this Universe mode, which is something that hasn't been in the game for quite a while, and it has only just been re-added recently in 2K25. But you'll notice as well in the schedule, there is no way to change any of this. The only thing you can do is simulate up until that date. So although now you have full customization of Universe mode, you can do whatever you want to it. Back then that wasn't the case. You were stuck with the established calendar, which to be fair, isn't the worst thing ever. I actually kind of like this. I'd like to say that they could add this as a mode in the current game, but to be fair, you could just load up Universe mode and not touch it, right? Just don't do anything with it. You do have options here as well for Raw and SmackDown. So Raw and SmackDown have their own champions. Again, you can't change the championships assigned to the show, but I think you can edit the champion, or you could at least just put on your own matches, right, to make them lose the belts. But you still have power rankings as well. So these are the contenders. The R-Truth is the number 1 contender for the Miz's US Championship. Yeah, so looking through the superstar listing here, if I go to like Batista, I can actually assign him a championship. So I could take the belt off of any of the characters, give it to Batista, and he'd be able to defend that within Universe mode. I can also adjust his statistics, I can adjust his abilities, give him allies, enemies, and change his crowd reaction, which is all stuff that's still in the game now. I can also change the legends to be assigned to a show, because I think currently if Bret Hart is a legend, he won't be used in any of the shows. Whereas if I was to assign him to Raw, then the system would pick him up and it would start using him. Likewise, you can also do teams. Annoyingly, they don't import from other, like I guess my WWE Universe, because it's all interconnected, right? If you create a tag team through my WWE, it might pull through to Universe mode, which is something that's bothered me for years, and it's still in the game. You can create teams outside of Universe modes, but there's no like import option. So I would rather have the ability to create teams outside of Universe mode and import them, or just have it as one system, because duplicating your work is so annoying, especially when you are trying to create so many tag teams. In Universe mode now, if you're trying, in 2K25, if you're trying to create like an AEW brand and you want to create all these tag teams, it's just very frustrating trying to do it in Exhibition and Universe. So if Ben, I know this is 2011, but if anything, please figure out a way to make it easier in the current games. Oh, and I should say as well, Universe mode is not mandatory. If you don't want to use it, if you don't want your matches being tracked and you don't want the cutscenes playing out during your match, all you have to do is click the right stick. So when you click the right stick, the little banner goes down and it's no longer in Universe mode. If you want to go back into Universe mode, then you click the right stick again and it appears in the bottom. Why is this not a feature of the game now? It's so perfect. I cannot believe that the first iteration of Universe mode is so well implemented in the game. And I just feel like it's some, and this isn't a 2K thing by any stretch, by the way. WWE 12 also removed a lot of this, but man, I just think they were really onto something here. Road to WrestleMania also returns 2011. A lot of people really like the Road to WrestleMania in 2011. I also like it, however, it's a little bit on the longer side, and the reason for that is because they implemented open free roam zones. So the Undertaker storyline is unique because it's the first Road to WrestleMania that allows for multiple characters. So when you choose to fight the Undertaker, you have the option to take a custom character in. You can play as R-Truth, Dolph Ziggler, John Morrison, or Kofi Kingston. So, and it's all fully voiced. It is completely voice acted, and your creative superstar has like a generic voice that goes alongside the character you're playing as. There's also a Road to WrestleMania featuring Christian. I don't remember anything about it. Oh no, I do remember this one, sorry. This is when, okay, I don't remember what it culminates in, but Edge and Christian form a tag team and they become a tag team again. That's all I remember from it. Because there's a time machine that allows you to go back and redo some of your choices that you do per week, which is very, very cool. John Cena's Road to WrestleMania this year, I feel like this is the one where Orton becomes a GM and then he tries to ruin Cena's life. I think that's what happens anyway. Rey Mysterio's one is kind of lost on me. You know, I always say that I don't remember what the Road to WrestleMania is, but then as I'm talking about it, I do remember what it is. So Rey's one is that he gets in a car crash at the start of the story, and he's got amnesia and he doesn't remember who he is, and your actions through the story determine which way he goes. You'll either become a good guy or a bad guy, which is very, very cool. And there's also a Chris Jericho storyline. I genuinely don't remember what that one's about. So, but yes, as I was saying, it's a free roam environment. Every single week you start in the parking lot, and you can make your way through the building, and you can go talk to people, you can do side missions, you can fight people for rewards, you can actually fight anyone in a backstage brawl at any time as well. And yeah, the story still plays out the exact same way, it just happens to be in an open environment now. This is the last game to feature Road to WrestleMania. There is a Road to WrestleMania in the next game, but it's so different. It's basically a linear storyline, which isn't inherently bad. Like, I really enjoyed the WWE 12 storyline. I remember so much from it. But Road to WrestleMania, that you remember it, this is the game, this is the last game to have that kind of Road to WrestleMania. Going into the creative modes as well, a lot of people have been asking me to cover Create a Superstar. The thing about Create a Superstar is it's such a big system, and honestly, it hasn't really changed in the years. Like, the system that's in the game now is the exact same system that existed back in SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, Shut Your Mouth, right? It just looks better now. And periodically each game they add in new features and new customization parts based on the characters that are in the game. But the type of videos that I'm doing here, I don't want to go too in depth into how the Create a Superstar works, but don't worry, in the future I will 100% be covering Create a Superstar, just not in these videos. So yeah, we already covered Superstar Threads in 2010. I think it's exactly the same in this game. Let's load it up and see. So if we look at the Undertaker, who's a DLC character, crowd signs and attire. So you can actually change this crowd signs as well, which is really cool. But if we go to attire, you get 3 slots, and it doesn't eat into Create Superstars as well. And you can make the Undertaker wear a different color. Wait, you're telling me you've never wanted to see the Undertaker in hot pink? What's wrong with you? And as promised, Story Designer returns in 2011 as well. So you can create multiplayer storylines by assigning multiple competitors in a match, which is very, very cool. So this is the first game to feature branching storylines, I think. I need to double check. So hopefully this won't crash on me. So let's just, I don't know, let's start with a match, right? So let's, yeah, sure, whatever. Match conditions. You can set the match to start without entrance stage. You can keep the victory scene on, and you can also set commentary, and you can set different kind of rules. So yeah, you can actually just have a standard match with different ring types. So you can do a standard match but in a steel cage, or you can have a standard match in a Hell in a Cell or an Elimination Chamber. But it doesn't need to be the full match. It can just be the Elimination Chamber. You can make it as part of a storyline. So say it's like real life. You've got the Elimination Chamber, and at the end of it, you want somebody cashing in. You would literally just have so let's just book that now. Match type, Elimination Chamber. Sorry, 6-man Elimination Chamber normal. There's the 6 men. So here's a cutscene here where I think it's Ted DiBiase's. Cody's lying down there, Orton runs in, DiBiase takes them all down, and the three of them gang up on Cena. So you can just accept that. That's legit. You've got the Elimination Chamber to open the show. I can set it so that so here you've got the Elimination Chamber. You can edit the conditions. So the win condition has to be, let's just say it has to be Cena, right? So let's say Cena, the win condition is win, and you can change the win state as well. This is really in depth, by the way, compared to what's in the game now anyway. Maybe this was too elaborate perhaps, but yeah, you can choose the win condition there. It just has to be Cena. And you can also do branching storylines, right? So you can do other win conditions based on where you want the story to go. So like if we turn off the victory scene as well, that would actually be really good, because then Cena would win. It would play that cutscene that we just saw about Legacy jumping Cena, and then it would tie into this brawl. I'm not going to play that, but I'm just saying that that is generally speaking how Story Designer works. And I need to do a whole video on it to really explain how good this is, the system. And maybe we could do custom storylines in this, and maybe do a limited series of just a couple weeks of, here's a story I've created or here's a Road to WrestleMania, a custom Road to WrestleMania in 2011 made by me or made by the community, and this is, you know, this is it. It's so cool. And you can have different paths as well. So this is like, you can have path A. I don't have a branching storyline, so I can't change to the other path, but you know, you can have an ending path as well. So you could do just about 500 matches and 500 scenes. You can only use 15 create superstars, which is a little annoying if you're trying to do like a custom story, like fully custom people. But yeah, you can completely fill out the calendar. If your character was gonna be on Raw, you could do like essentially that's 52 52 plus 12, so that's what, 6, I can't discalculate, I can't count, but it's like plus 60 plus matches, and then a whole bunch of scenes on top of that with all the pay-per-views and stuff. So you can have like a year-long storyline. And I mean, theoretically, if you were to tie multiple stories, in fact, you could do multiple years. Oh my god, I've just realized there's a year counter in the bottom right, so you can have to do multiple years of storyline as well if you really wanted to. So yeah, it's just insane and it's awesome, and it's a shame that they took it out. So here's the obligatory let's look for the roster part of the video. So this is the base roster based on main characters and people you unlock through the Road to WrestleMania and stuff like that. So you have Batista, Big Show, Guerrero, Chavito. We've got Chris Jericho in his trunks as well. So Christian looking for his peeps. You got Straight Edge Society, CM Punk with the kind of Messiah hair. We have Cody Rhodes, who is firmly in Legacy here. One half of the tag team champions, David Hart Smith, the British Bulldog's child. That's a weird way to say that. We have a very young Dolph Ziggler here, Intercontinental Champion as well, was very cool. Also, very young Drew McIntyre. This is when he was doing the Chosen One and hadn't been champion of anything yet. Maybe an IC champion. We also have the Druid, but the Druid is part of the Road to WrestleMania storyline, I think, especially with the Undertaker storyline. So very cool that you can use him. I don't know if I'm ever gonna, I can't think of a scenario where I'm ever going to use one, but it's cool that he's there. We also have the Rated R Superstar Edge. This is just before his retirement, or one of his retirements. So in fact, WrestleMania 26, he faced Jericho, he was out injured. So this is actually a little bit off of retirement, but still very much main eventer Edge here. Evan Bourne appears here as well, not part of DLC. I think he was DLC in one of the earlier games, but on the full roster here, not even on ECW, he's on Raw. Ezekiel Jackson, also on Raw. I remember these guys getting drafted and being like, they ain't going to do shit on Raw, and they didn't. So we have Fit Finlay returning, awesome mid-carder. We have Goldust, our best guy from Shut Your Mouth. We have Jack Swagger. Jack Swagger plays a big part in the Road to WrestleMania storyline for Rey Mysterio. Also, that's Jack Swagger's music playing in the background. That's so weird that that played just as I went over him. We have Jake Roberts, who's part of the Legends roster. We have Jimmy Snuka, also part of the Legends roster. We have John Cena actually having the WWE title for the first time. Well, not for the first time, but he typically in these games doesn't have the title. For some reason, in 2011, he does. John Morrison appearing here. And then going further down, we've got JTD looking very strange, actually. Looking a little bit like a young Booker T there in that render. So we also have Kane baring his big ugly teeth. Kofi Kingston, his render looks all kinds of fucked up. I don't know why he looks like that. If I click on him, he should do an animation. Okay, he looks a bit more normal there. I like that when you select the characters, they do like unique animations. So we have Luke Gallows here. He's no longer Festus. He's now straight edge society. He's Luke Gallows. Mark Henry appearing here, also much better character model for Mark because he is of weight. Mark Henry, Matt Hardy appearing here, back as almost a version 1 in a way. Mike Knox, who for some reason isn't listed as anything. I don't know if he was maybe released at this point, but he doesn't seem to have a brand associated with him. We have The Miz as the US champion. We've got Vince McMahon, who is also a free agent, which is ironically where he is now. MVP's appearing here. He wasn't really doing anything this time. Primo is here. I didn't see Epico though. Don't know what my obsession is with Epico, but I feel like if you're going to have Primo, you need to have Epico as well. There is the Snake, Randy Orton. He looks so weird in this game, but he did look weird in real life at this time. We have the World Heavyweight Champion, Rey Mysterio. I don't remember him holding the World Heavyweight title back in 2011, but he must have. We have Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. We have Rob Van Dam, who famously was part of TNA when this game came out, and he was allowed in the game as part of a favor from TNA. The Rock appears here as a legend. Rock looks like he's the wrong color there, the wrong skin color. Maybe that's just me. We have R-Truth appearing here. He's very, very cool. Santino Marella. If I select on him, he's going to do the Cobra, and that is cool as hell. Is he going to... Oh, I thought he was going to do the... Whatever. We have Shad Gaspard, the other half of Crime Time. We have Shawn Michaels in his DX fatigues. We have Sheamus looking pale as fuck. Gold Standard, Shelton Benjamin, not part of ECW, not part of any branding, again in the free agency. Maybe he was released at the time the game came out. There's Stone Cold Steve Austin looking hella spooky with his crazy reflective eyes. Not the best model for Austin. We have Ted DiBiase also looking... Why are the faces all kind of weird? Anyway, Ted DiBiase there with looking a bit better in the animation, but we also have Legend Terry Funk looking really short in his thing. I don't know why he's so far down compared to like Ted DiBiase at the very top of the list, and then Terry Funk appearing at half of that, so he looks like a little guy. We've got Triple H here. Very good model for Triple H, actually, to be honest. I mean, he usually does have a good model, but yeah, this is... Let's say peak Triple... is it peak Triple H? No, peak Triple H was definitely in like 2001, right? We have Tyson Kidd with his interesting hairdo. The other half of the tag team champions with Davey Boy Smith as well. So that's the Hart Dynasty, I think they were. Moving further, you got The Undertaker, a very young Vance Archer. I completely forgot that Vance Lance was even in this game. I was going through this game with a friend, and Vance Archer came up, and we just double-taked. We both just went, what? That's Lance Archer? Apparently there was a time in 2011 when Lance Archer was on SmackDown. We have the return of Vladimir Kozlov with William Regal and Yoshitatsu. I remember really liking Yoshitatsu. Zack Ryder with his one-legged trunks. Interesting choice. Not a good look. If I remember rightly as well, the women's roster is not that deep either. So you've got, well, I guess Layla's a DLC. It's strange that it opened directly onto DLC, but we have Layla, Alicia Fox, Beth Phoenix, Brie Bella, Eve Torres, Gail Kim, also part of the base roster, very, very cool. Kelly Kelly appearing again. Maurice appearing probably for the first time. Melina looking all kinds of fucked up. I don't know why her face looks like that. Michelle McCool with the Women's Championship. I do remember this time. I think this is like Lay Cool time, right? This is firmly in Lay Cool. Mickie James appearing here. Given Mickie James' history, perhaps she was in TNA at the time, and this is like a loan situation, just like RVD. Natalia here with the hot pink streak. I forgot all about that. But Hart Dynasty, this is when Natalia debuted, right? So that's why she has the pink streak in her hair. Nikki Bella appearing as well. So, okay, there actually are quite... Layla, I think, is the only DLC character. So it's actually quite a big women's roster. Sorry, divas. There is also the DLC. This game has a ton of DLC, so we'll very quickly go through it. You have the Masterpiece returning, Lex Luger. There's a lot of DLC not DLC. There's a lot of WCW characters here as well. So you have Lex Luger, British Bulldog. So I always thought that was pretty cool. You could team him up with Davey Boy if you wanted to. You have Davey Boy. David Hart Smith, or whatever he's called. Justin Gabriel here is part of the Nexus, so you've got WCW and Nexus packs here. So David Otunga, Wade Barrett, I think, making his debut as part of the Nexus. We also have John Cena, who he's wearing his purple, but I can't remember if that... There was a time when he was going to be in Nexus, and I feel like this was around that time. We also have the American Badass Undertaker. Bret Hart appears as a legend, and that is the DLC there. That is not the only DLC. If you look in the arenas, there are, for the first time ever, there are also the ability to download arenas. So this is when NXT launched as a reality game TV show thing. So NXT 1.0, I guess, is available here, and WCW Nitro is also here. I don't know why there's so much WCW focus on the DLC in this game, and it's really ironic considering that WWE12 had a lot of WCW interaction with like the storyline that is in that Road to WrestleMania. I normally skip this part just to go straight into the match, but what the fuck is wrong with Lex Luger's head? Why does his forehead look so massive? Oh, and the match has begun already because we're in Universe mode. It was going to be a Fatal 4-Way TLC match, as it is, but starting the match, Bret Hart attacks Terry Funk, which gives Bret 3 finishers, which I didn't realize, but it also skips the entrances, so not going to see any of them in it. Not that I usually cut them out of the video anyway, but this is the WCW Nitro Arena. The stage is good and the colors are good, but it just looks like a WWE version of Nitro, which is weird. It doesn't look like what Nitro looked like. Also, every time... Oh, there we are. So... Oh, and he got knocked down into the ropes there. Every time that I do these matches, or every time I've played SmackDown vs. Raw 2011, it always ends really disappointingly. I don't know, the matches are either like really quick or there's some sort of cutscene that interjects in the action. So there was a TLC match, I think it was a Cody Cena match maybe, and there was loads of run-ins, but then the match just like finished super quickly. Davey Boy Smith almost getting knocked through that table there, but unfortunately not so lucky for us. At least they're moving some of the furniture, right? And you'll have noticed as well, I went for a slightly WCW themed match here. I'm trying to showcase the DLC. Mostly because the DLC is actually really hard to acquire these days. Like, if you didn't download it at the time, then you don't really have access to get this kind of DLC unless you have well, if you have an Xbox like I do, then you're able to get a lot of the DLC through means. But if you didn't download it at the time, there's just no way really to get this stuff anymore. There might be a reseller out there that's selling like random digital codes that maybe you can buy and redeem them legit. Although now that I think about it, the Xbox 360 store has been turned off, so like I think legitimately there is just no means of getting a lot of this DLC. I feel like I didn't really explain the controls to this game, but I actually don't really remember them. I think 2011 and moving forward, WWE 12 and 13 play very much like the current WWE games. They're very much what you would expect from a wrestling game control-wise. Lex is pulling the briefcase down. I really thought he had it there. Bret, pushing Luger into the ropes. I really like how interactive the whole thing is. Like when you're pushing people off the ladders and stuff. I guess I should probably be talking about that. This game did overhaul the weapon physics, so as you can see, there's a lot of like interaction with weapons and stuff. So when you knock over the ladder and Bret is near, or anyone who's on top of the ladder is near the ropes, then they will just like go into the ropes, and it's very, very cool. Likewise, if we're lucky enough to see a table bump here, you'll also see the table. This is the first game that breaks the tables like the current games, where it breaks into 3 parts. But there's also massive amounts of physics applied to that as well. Same with the steel steps there. We saw Terry Funk get pushed into the steel steps, and as a result, he fell over the steps. And like when, you know, Bulldog fell off the ladder there and bumped the ring mat, the steel steps like bounced. Like there's definitely physics applied to a lot of these objects, and it's very, very cool. Also, the ladder's lying there in a very precarious position. I think if somebody was to do a really big move, it would look very cool, because they would land on the ladder and they would have interactions with the ladder as well. Oh, but Bret moved the ladder, so we're not going to see any cool bumps, unfortunately. But you never know, we might actually see a table break. We might see, or well, I think Bret might try and just win the match. Of course, Lex Luger bringing in a steel chair. This is like America versus Britain here, and I Canadian, America, Britain, Canadian, and whatever planet Terry Funk's from. I have to say though, graphically, I don't think this game is quite there. Like, it looks fine, and gameplay wise it plays really well. Like, it's really fun to play, especially with the weapons physics and interactions as mentioned. Like, even like these moves here on top of the table, they'll have interaction. Like when the person lands on the ladder or lands on the table, there will be an interaction. There'll be a cell essentially, whereas like nowadays you don't really get that. They just kind of land flat on the weapon and that's kind of it. And there's a lot of really cool interactions you can actually do. Like you can lean the ladders against the ropes, you can lean like tables against the ropes, I think. And you can do moves to break the objects. Like you can break the ladder from like leaning it against the ropes and stuff. It's very, very cool. I don't think I finished my point earlier. I think graphically the game's not quite there. Like it isn't, it looks fine for the most part. Like it's okay. You can tell who people are. Oh, and there's a table break from Lex. That looked amazing, actually, to be honest. Bulldog with the bulldog through, wait, what? Bulldog with the bulldog through the table, and Lex is back up. So, oh my god, and Terry Funk threw the ladder over the ropes and it bounced off of Brett's leg. That looked hilarious. So we've had a table bump, Bulldog with the bulldog. We've had Terry Funk throwing a ladder to Brett's leg that bounced out of the ring. I'll be honest, I think these lads have just forgotten that this is even a ladder match. Oh, and Brett, oh my god, Brett was impaled by the ladder there. That looked awesome. Like, this is what I mean by the interactions, right? Being able to get those bulldogs. Apparently, Bulldog is amazing at bulldogs, but getting those moves onto the weapons and having that kind of physics interaction, I think makes it look awesome. Oh my god, Terry Funk has the opportunity here to maybe win the match. Of course, he's going to climb the ladder super slowly, but I think the other two are going to fight each other. Oh, Funk can't. I don't think he can. Oh, he just caught it with his fingertips. I think the Funker, even though he's a small guy in the menu system, he might have won. No, Brett pushing Terry into the ropes. And this match continues. Terry determined to win again, though. He's going to try and climb the ladder. Is in perfect position to actually win. Although Lex, if Lex has anything to say about it, he just shot up that ladder. He's not gonna let Funk win. Although, oh, Funk was going. Wait, what? What happened? Lex was going for a big move off the ladder, but the ladder fell, and then Terry, like I said, Terry floated from whatever planet he's from. He's got special abilities. Lex going for a DDT on Brett in the middle of the ring on the chair. This is a TL, well, I guess it is TLC, and the C stands for chair. You can see that the ladder fell over and now it's propped against the ropes. So theoretically, if anyone was to, well, if you were to run sideways into it, you would actually run up the ladder. But also, if you did like a move on it, it would have like cool physics interactions with it as well. Oh, I think Lex is, oh, I thought Lex was going to run up it, but the game was obviously smart enough. Oh, we've got color for the first time. I can't believe that a random ass bulldog is what caused Bulldog to bleed. After everything that's happened in this match, apparently that was the one that made him juice. Terry Funk set up the ladder in the most perfect place ever, and then he just left the ring. So maybe the AI could use a little bit of work. I do think the AI does improve quite a lot in the next game. I don't think these guys have any intention of actually winning the match, so, which is good for us, because this is actually the first time in 2011 that I've been able to actually enjoy the match. Usually they end far too quickly. I also don't think, other than the intro, you know, Bret Hart jumping Terry Funk, I don't think we're going to see any universe interactions. Reason being, you can only do a 4-person TLC match. You can't do like a 5 or 6-person TLC match, which kind of indicates to me that maybe there's a technical reason that you can't have more than 4 people in a TLC match, which would tell me that there probably isn't, if there's a technical reason, then there probably isn't going to be a run-in of any kind during the match. And that's not to say that something doesn't happen after the match. Maybe there won't, you know, whoever wins, there might not be a celebration. Oh my god, Lex, you're in perfect position to win the match. He went for a finisher. That was his finish. No, it wasn't a finisher. Okay, now Brett is in a perfect position to win the match. Is he actually going to try, though? Oh, Brett is trying, but I think Bulldog might try and stop him. Oh, an errant shot takes Brett off the ladder. Oh, okay, the two of them are outside the ring. Lex is back on his feet, but is he going to be able to stop Brett? Well, can Brett even grab the briefcase? Is the first... Nope, Brett fell off the ladder. And now Lex is going to try. I mean, maybe Lex has longer arms? Maybe? Nope. Lex also fell off the ladder. Great. Now Brett's going to try again. Oh, but Bulldog though, if they climbed the other side of the ladder, they'd be able to grab it, but they're too dumb. Nope, Brett's going to fall again. Of course, the one time that they're actually trying to win the match is when the ladder is completely out of position. Oh, but Bulldog though, Bulldog's actually in really good position to... Oh, the ladder's going to get knocked over here. Can Bulldog win from this position though? I don't know if he can. I don't think he can. I think he's just holding on. I think he's going to fall any second. There he goes. Oh my god, Bret Hart with the... Oh, I thought he was going to do the suplex outside the ring, but he didn't. And he was met with a ladder to the face as a reward for not breaking the table. Oh my god, please end the match, please. Bret has an opportunity here. He's grabbing the briefcase. He's pulling it down. I think Bret might have it. Oh my god, Bret, finally. I don't know how long that match was. You know, I appreciate that we finally got a longer match out of 2011, but that was just slightly too long. And of course, Bret wins, and oh, we do have a handshake at the end here. Davey Boy not accepting the handshake given or offered by Bret. So this could be the start of a storyline here for Universe mode. Maybe next time we pick up 2011, there could be a continuation of Bret and Bulldog here. So that's going to be us for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing, because we are growing very fast and it is very cool. And I want to keep making these videos for you because you seem to be enjoying them. So yeah, let me know what your favorite memory of SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 is. My favorite feature that they added this year has to be the weapon physics. I mean, just I talk about it every time that we load up 2011, but just the way the game plays and like the physics, and it's just so much fun. It's just so much fun. That's us for today. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great day. Bye for now.